What's going on, guys? This is Derek Ledwidge from Strive Fitness and Performance. In today's video, I'm going to go over an interesting topic, mostly because majority of people don't talk about it, right? They always talk about how to count macros, how to start your meal plan, how to start your fat loss, how do you maintain, stuff like that. And we talk about that here as well. But I've been getting a lot of questions during our challenge, as well as our new clients coming in, on what happens, like what plan should you have when life always seems to get in the way, or like when you're sick, right? When work stuff happens, when stress happens, stuff like that. What do you do when those things happen? Right now, the cliche thing is to say, hey, just don't worry about it. Get back on track the next day, right? Or, hey, we'll start again on Monday, stuff like that, right? And that's all well and good, right? But we're going to talk a little bit more on a couple different ways that you can have a little bit better plan, and why it's important to have that plan as well going forward. It's not just about fat loss, but it's about maintaining as well, right? So I'm actually super excited to talk about this just because, again, it's not really talked about too much. But it's going to be perfect for the people that, always seem to always restart, whether it is like week 3. I always tell people it's around week 3 when people always stop, like a challenge or a fat loss phase or something like that. So it's perfect for those people. But it's also perfect for the people that always gain the weight back, right? They do really, really good on fat loss phase, and then they gain it back. Both of these are going to be talking about the same type of stuff. One thing sort of, gets right back on track. One sort of switches up the mindset and switches up the overall goal and the action plan. But both sort of have the same exact things in mind when we're talking about it. So super excited to talk about them. It's going to sort of talk to you in one way or another, right? Whether you are struggling to lose weight, or you're one that always puts weight on, or you can never really start, or anything like that. All right. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. As always, if you're watching the live, comment live in the comment section. If you're watching replay, comment on replay. I'd love to hear when people are actually watching this. And if you have any questions as I go through some of this stuff, post it in the comments as well, and I can easily answer any of them as I go, as well as if you're watching the replay, because I see all of this stuff, and I'm always looking to help out and answer any questions you might have. So open door policy, feel free to do that. So what happens when you fall off, right? These are the things of, you're saying that your schedule is crazy, right? This is not about how to create a fat loss phase. It's about always being able to start, right? Some people that say, I never have enough time, they like nothing's really worked or anything like that. A lot of that is just prioritizing your time, right? We're not talking about that today. We're talking about the people that get started, right? And either they get all the weight and weight off, and then they fall off, or they're going great 4 weeks in, and then all of a sudden, bam, they get sick, or bam, something happens in their life, or within their lifestyle, and they fall off. Right? We're talking about those people, not necessarily people that, I don't have enough time to start, or I don't have time to do this, right? That's on another video, right? That's just how to create your own fitness plan, stuff like that. Still similar, but we're not really talking about that. Realize, before we talk about that, realize that most people don't struggle with losing weight, right? All diets work as long as you're consistent with them. Now, if you're not consistent, again, that's another different video. But most people don't struggle with losing weight. Most people struggle keeping it off, right? And that's really what we're talking about here, right? A lot of times. And it's usually because life happens, right? They don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do when they fall off, right? They don't know what to do when they, when they're not dieting, when they're not trying to lose weight, right? So just keep that in mind. And it's usually because life gets in the way, right? They get sick, an event happens, right? And what ends up happening is they quickly go into the fuck it stage, right? They say they mess up on Friday, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, fuck it, I'm just going to start again on Monday, right? And then it turns into I'm going to start again on next month. We've had a lot of people do that this past month, where they were gone here at Strive the entire month of September, and it was because one event happened, right? We didn't realize it was one event because until I asked, hey, what happened? Right? Let's figure out what ended up happening, right? So life always seems to get in the way, right? Whether you're just starting and you can't get over that stride, or you fell off and all of a sudden now I gained all the way back, right? And it's because we got into the quickly go into the effort stage. Most of this stuff ends up becoming, that's where the cliche comes of, just, fix it for tomorrow, right? Get on track for tomorrow and don't worry about it. Very, very true, right? All we're trying to do is not turn into a shit show, right? That's the biggest thing that we want to avoid, right? Whether it is maintaining after we lose weight, or just getting over the hump of the first 3 weeks. As long as we don't go into full on shit show mode, right? Doesn't matter how shitty your nutrition is. As long as we keep on getting a little bit better and we're not going full on shit show mode, we're not going the effort mode or anything like that, you're going to be fine, right? And that's how we get that little better every single week, right? We're just trying to not get into the fuck it stage, right? Where everything just goes out the window, right? Even after we lose weight, right? You still have a job to do, right? The diet after diet is actually most important, right? So how do we end up going through this? Okay, first thing you have to understand is that we actually go through phases, right? So depending on where you're at, right, maybe we got all our results and then now so we're trying to maintain, but we feel that, like we don't know what to do, right? We're going into that phase of maintenance, right? It is a phase. You need to learn how to maintain. Each one of these phases has a different tool in the toolbox, right? We need to know what our lifestyle looks like when we are dieting, when we are trying to lose weight. What does that look like? What tactics do we use? What type of nutrition plan are we following? Stuff like that. We also need to learn how to maintain. What tools in the toolbox are there, right? What happens when, all hell breaks loose and we get sick, work gets in the way, stuff like that. How do we manage it to make sure that we don't go into shit show mode? Both of those have tools, right? It's a strategy. Everything is a strategy. If you don't have a strategy and you're just sort of doing shit, you're never actually going to get anywhere. If you don't have a strategy to hold it back down, when that diet strategy fails, now all of a sudden it's like, I'm into fuck it mode, right? We want to make sure we get away from that. So understand that there are phases. That's what we talk about those, right? There's diet season, there's maintaining season, there's preseason and off season, right? All the different seasons of nutrition. Each one has its own tools. Each one has its own action plan. So understand that that is completely normal, right? Most people, when they go into and they're like trying to maintain or anything like that, it is, oh, well, fuck it. I can't do what I was doing before. I can't be perfect. So now I'm just going to gain all the way back, right? Instead, you have to flip to maintenance, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. If we are still trying to go into fat loss, obviously it's, hey, I want to get back on there, right? So now I'm just, again, the whole starting tomorrow again, right? I'm going to get right back on track, stuff like that. But because that's the phase that you're in fat loss phase, you're not in maintenance phase. So how do we know what phase we're in, right? I've gone into that a little bit longer detail, but the game plan, right? How do we stop going into fuck it stage? Or how do we stop going into full on shit show and we gain all the way back, or we don't get started or anything like that, right? Understand that true results come from a fat loss phase, which if you do it right, it's probably 2 times out of the year, right? A fat loss phase around 12 to 16 weeks, nothing generally longer. Then you go into maintenance after that. But about 12 to 16 weeks is usually the case, right? True results comes from that, but true long-term results come from just not turning into shit show, right? You do that, you get long-term results. Okay. So what you have to understand is when this event happens, right? This is the first step, right? Whether it doesn't matter what phase this is in, right? Even if you're in fat loss phase, it could very easily turn into, you know what, I actually need to be in maintenance phase, right? And I'm not going full on in fat loss phase because of XYZ, right? So what we have to understand is are you in shit show mode, right? Is it full on, no control, I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want or anything like that? Is it shit show mode, right? 2, how long is it going to be? Are you just sick, right? And when you get back on track, you just get right back on track. It's no big deal. I'm just sick, right? You're not going to be able to do too much, but hey, don't turn into shit show mode, right? How long is it going to be? Maybe it's the entire quarter, right? It's 3 weeks, right? Leading up to the end of the quarter because of work. Okay, that's a long time actually, right? And I don't want to be in a shit show for 3 weeks because I could easily gain some weight back during that time, right? Maybe it's the entire summer, right? And now all of a sudden it's like 3 months, right? Maybe it's October or September, October, because kids are going back to school and I coach volleyball or I coach different sports. Maybe it's 2 months, right? Maybe it's just the time of the year for work, right? Just like the accountant, end of the quarter, stuff like that. How long is this going to be, right? Hopefully not, but maybe you're going through a rough like marital patch or something like that, right? And now all these stressors, right, are going to cause you into saying, well, screw it, I'm not going to focus on everything else because I'm focusing on other things, right? We don't want to do that. That is fuck it mode. We don't want to do that. So how long is it actually going to be? Is it just a couple of days, right? Was it just a bad week, right? Stuff like that. How long is it going to be, right? Generally, if it's short, then it doesn't matter, especially if you're just getting to that fat loss phase. If it's just a short little phase, you just get right back onto it and you just keep on going. No big deal. I can't fix that. I can only control what's in front of me. I can't control the past. I can control the present, not even the future. I can control the present, right? That's the biggest thing. If it's long, right, and this is usually what we talk about with our clients, it's every 90 days at minimum, we talk. It's like, okay, what does the next 90 days look like, right? Is it going to be really hard to lose weight if that's our goal, right? And if the answer is yes, maybe summer is a lot of alcohol. You know what? We're probably not going to lose weight even though that's what your goal is. But you know what? Let's learn how to maintain. We have to be able to know how to do that. Right. This is why there's no right time to join to do anything. Right. Because I need to know how to handle the shitty times, just like the good times. Right. So if I don't know how to handle the shitty times and I only worry about, getting coaching or doing a challenge on the good times. Well, now all of a sudden, when I go back to all this other stuff, because it's not going away, I just gain all the way back. Right. I have to know how to handle all these different things. Right. So you have to be aware of that. So how long is it going to be? Is something that we have to spend a lot of time with. Find the event that happened, right? Know why it happened, right? Maybe you were sick and then it caused you to binge eat. Maybe maybe you're an emotional eater, right? And it caused you to binge, right? And that binge caused you to waste an entire month because you said, fuck it, right? What happened? What was the event? Usually it's one event, right? Or a couple. Or it's the entire thing of just summer. I have so many events, or the holidays, right? That's a big one that we talk about as a group in our nutrition inner circle, right? We talk about all that different type of stuff because that's usually a thing where people are maintaining. I usually put every one of my clients on maintenance mode during the holidays, right? Even if they handle their shit better, right? Because all cards are going against them pretty much, right? So find the event. What did you do afterwards? We become aware of what's actually going on, right? Next time it happens, so this is going to be the strategy. So next time it happens, how do you keep it from shit show, right? So if you're in a fat loss phase, how do you stop that? How do you stop it from happening again? And how do you keep on going into fat loss mode? If you're in maintenance mode, how are you going to figure out how to maintain, right? How do you get away from shit show mode, right? If you're in a fat loss phase, you just have to be a little bit more strict. If you're in maintenance phase, then you can be a little bit more flexible, right? It's a little bit easier to, not go into shit show mode. And then the last one, what you want to do is you want to create some minimums, right? When it's the shitty things, right? You want to, even if it's just a 1 day thing, even if it's a 2 day thing and you're in fat loss mode, right? So you want to create the minimums. It could be, you know what? bare minimum, when I have a really, really shitty couple of days, you know what? I'm going to make sure I pay attention to my snacking. I know I am just a mindless eater. I emotionally eat like crazy. On those days, I'm going to make sure my minimum is going to be no 2 meals bad, like in a row, right? I'm going to make sure I track my snacks. I'm going to get my steps in. I'm going to drink a bunch of water. Whatever the minimums are, it doesn't really matter, right? We do that for the holidays. What are your minimums, right? You're just, don't worry about working out 5 days a week. Worry about working out 2, right? What is your minimum when the shit hits the fan, shittiest month in the year? What are you going to not allow yourself to do less, right? That's how we manage and not turn into shit show mode. So what are going to be the minimums? Right? That is pretty much the action plan, right? That's how we sort of handle those shitty times, right? And if it's a fat loss, if you're trying to lose weight, then generally it's those things are going to be smaller, right? Might be a day here, a day there. As long as it doesn't turn into 5 days or 3 weeks, you're good. You'll be getting into fat loss phase. If it's going to last any longer, and no matter what you do, you can't stay consistent, now we need to learn how to maintain, and that's a different level. Right. So that's what we have to understand is understand that there are phases. Even if you need to lose weight, you need to check your ego. And sometimes you need to be in maintenance mode, right? We're doing bare minimum. We're not trying to lose weight. Even if it's for a couple of weeks, a lot of times you can get back on track, right? So understand that there's phases, right? Check your ego, check your shit, and understand what phase you are actually currently in. If you don't do that, right, and you try to, summer, if you're a big drinker and you try to, screw it, I just want to lose weight, right? At some point, you're not going to get results. It's going to piss you off and you're going to say, fuck it, right? You're going to try so incredibly hard and it becomes too taxing. So then you say, fuck it, right? That's what ends up happening, right? So you have to understand that. That's why we have coaching, right? We tell people what to do. This is the plan we're in. This is the phase we're in. This is what we should do, right? So understand that. 2, when the shit show happens, is it a shit show, right? Are we, am I okay? Did I only mess up one thing, like one meal? That's not really a shit show. Is it full on just, I got into F it mode, right? Did you actually do that, right? 2, how long is it going to last? Was it just one day? Did one day lead to 3 days, but then I'm actually fine? Like the rest of my year is good, right? Or is it because of work and work is going to be shitty the next 3 months or the next 2 months or something like that, or the next month, next 3 weeks, whatever it is, right? If it's longer than, hey, I just messed up, then we need to start realizing what phase we're in, right? 4, find out what event it was. Sort of goes along the same line as what I just mentioned, right? Find out what the event it was and what did you do? Was work really, really bad, or were kids' schedules really, really hard to maintain and I just went into full-blown F it mode? Okay, what happened, right? What did you do, right? The next one, 4 or 5, sorry. How do you keep from going into shit show mode? Now we're talking about action plans. So now I'm going to talk about, okay, what am I going to do to make sure that doesn't happen again, right? Am I going to, prep a little bit more, right? Am I going to just be a little bit more focused, stuff like that. And then the last one, what is my minimums, right? This is our tools in the toolbox thing, right? Shit hits the fan. What are my minimums that I'm going to do? These can change, but no matter what, and the reason why this works is it gives you something to hold on to, right? And so, same thing as, knowing to stop at a stoplight, right? If I didn't know what to do, I would just keep on going, right? But now I know, okay, when I see that, I do this. It's the same thing, right? So now I'm going to have these minimums. I'm going to have them right here. Shitty times happen. Okay, you know what? It's lasting, it's not just one day or anything like that. Hey, boom, here you go. These are my minimums for that shitty day, for that shitty weekend, whatever it is. These are my minimums. And I'm not going to allow myself to do anything less. If it's longer than a couple of weeks, maybe I revamp it a little bit. What are the minimums? What are going to be the things that anchor you into going away from fuck it mode, from shit show mode? All right. So that is how to handle when you say life always gets in the way. It's usually not because of the event, but how you handle it. This is why people gain weight during the holidays, right? They allow one event, shit show mode probably leads to, 3 weeks of beyond shitty, right? 2 months of beyond shitty, even though it was only probably about 4 events out of 2 months that actually mattered, right? We want to go away from that shit show mode, right? As much as we can. Even if it's the holidays, we're just outlasting it. And then when times are good, guess what? I put these away and now I grab these tools. Now it's fat loss mode. Okay, boom. I'm going to use these now. That's all it is. I just keep on going back and forth between those. And that's how you maintain your weight loss, right? And then now when you go back to fat loss mode, you don't have to lose 10 pounds that you just gained, just get back to neutral, right? And now you're just sort of just spinning your wheels, right? So that is how we handle the notion of life always gets in the way, right? Love to know your comments. Love to know maybe some things that you always fall off on, right? If you want help on sort of, your situation, post it in the comments. Post what usually you do, and maybe like ask a question, right? Maybe you're curious about what you should do with this event because this always happens. What do you do, right? We don't have to necessarily jump on a phone call and talk about it. We can easily answer any questions in the comments, and I can help out any way I possibly can. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will talk to you later.